Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Event Icons. We are joined today by the lovely, illustrious, incredibly awesome Brandt Krueger.
Oh, that was a lot of adjectives, man. Why would you be using so many adjectives
on
this show?
Well, because we're talking about event tech. And for those who don't know, Brandt and I host a podcast called the Event Tech Podcast, where we interview amazing technologies, talk about event technology just for the events industry. So,
and there's also a running joke about adjectives.
And yes, and then I also give Brandon an adjective. So if you didn't know that, go watch the podcast. We're going to be doing a little bit of a high-level overview of all the cool tech that we've seen here at IMAX America.
Yeah, and then if you want the deep dive, you're going to have to subscribe to Event Tech Podcast and check it out. So
definitely
a little bit of a teaser there as far as what we're talking about. But high-level stuff. So here at the show, obviously we get to, it's one of the things that I love about coming to IMAX is it's my opportunity to reconnect with all the event tech that's out there, see old friends, see new friends. And that's what's been fun for me is seeing, that little, what used to be kind of the back corner of the hall, has slowly grown. And now it's like, it's also where the food is and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually really grown and grown and grown over the course of the time that I've been coming to this show. So it's no longer just this kind of relegated thing. It's actually kind of its own area. And so we get to, see all of the mobile apps that are out there, all of the registration that's out there, all of the new things that are coming. We're going to be finding out some more new products coming out momentarily. But, so for me, it's an opportunity, like I say, to kind of reconnect and see what's new and exciting. And because it's, September, starting to get late in the year, it is kind of an opportunity to start to see what the trends are. As we start looking at 2020 and, the leaves are starting to change. So it's time for everybody and their dog to write trends posts about what's going to be hot in 2020. And what's interesting to me is that while there's still a lot of new companies showing up, like, hey, this is new, that's new, that's new. Overall, big picture, there's little things here and there, but overall, big picture, there's not like that wow innovation, and so it's a lot of iterative stuff, like we're improving this module or we're adding that module, or now, we have our registration platform, we're adding this onto this and we're adding this onto this. Or, there's also been a lot of conglomeration over the course of the last years. And so those brands are kind of settling into their identities as now we're all one big group. And so we have to have that sign and that sign and that sign. All of that is a long-winded way of saying, well, and this is the short version, so be sure. No, is a way of saying that I feel like as we're going into 2020, it's going to be much more of an iterative year. Awesome. Without that flashbang, like, oh my goodness, it's AR, it's all that kind of stuff. It's going to be improvements. And we're seeing that across a lot of the tech sector right now. Whereas, 75% of the posts about the iPhone is, the most recent iPhone that came out is like, it's the most amazing thing since sliced bread, or it's really nothing all that new. So depending on who you talk to, it's either the most amazing thing ever or it's not all that new. Because really, we've kind of hit peak smartphone to a certain extent. It's like, okay, now let's then now there's how many cameras are on the back now? And
we're
so,
hitting kind of peak event tech.
Right, yeah, exactly. And so I think to a certain extent, a lot of this technology has matured.
Absolutely.
It's not bleeding edge technology anymore to have an event app. You kind of expected to have an event app at this point, whereas it doesn't feel like that long ago where we were still talking about, oh my God, how does it work if the Wi-Fi doesn't work? And what if there isn't Wi-Fi at your event?
Well, then you're screwed.
Kind of yeah, well, yeah. But we found ways to fix that, and the infrastructure has gotten better, and we're actually able now. Like I say, it's to the point where it's kind of expected. You have to have the event app, or it's already post-event app, and people are moving on to chat box.
Exactly.
Like so it's definitely something. So that's why I've got that vibe. That being said, though, I did see a few cool little things.
Well, I got one for you. There's something that I saw that was cool on the show floor. We talked a little bit about during the podcast was Hilton's booth, which was as we talked about, a lot of things that you saw too was there wasn't a huge amount of whoa amazing technology, but it was a lot of innovative uses of existing technologies.
Exactly. And that's actually one of my favorite things is that, rather than the flash boom, crazy new stuff, which, yeah, that happens. But when people come out with a creative use of existing technology, that's always what I enjoy, because it usually means it's not going to be that expensive, because at that point it's tried and tested technology, and you're still going to have that wow bang flash bang moment of like, that's really cool. using existing technology. So the
Totally.
Hilton booth that you're talking about, for anybody that hasn't had a chance to see it, they had it. It's visually stunning, but at its core, it's LED wall. The kind of it's the panels that you can snap together. And usually, when you're seeing LED wall, it's in the context of like these ultra wide screens. Well, quite brilliantly, they've taken them and they've made them tall. So you've got a four-sided thing of this tall LED wall, and it looks like a waterfall coming down. And then they've got speakers up in the things, with the whooshing water noises. And it's a really stunning and simple effect. There's really not that much to it. It's some content of rushing waterfalls and some a loop of some sound effects.
But then what's cool about it is they tied it into one of their big initiatives. Their responsibility initiatives, I should say, which is to conserve water.
Right.
So it was really cool because it was a use of technology that delivered a purpose beyond that, which was so super.
I'm just
cool.
glad I wasn't at the booth across the way, because I'd be having to run to the bathroom every 10 minutes.
Totally. Well, but you also saw something that was really, really cool. We got to give them the digest version of it. But something you also saw really cool related, we talked about for solving the problem of drink tickets and also the passport, go stamp at every booth kind of thing.
Exactly. Community brands. And it's another perfect example of using really simple existing technology. They've got these they look like rubber stamps. They're little white things, a little square on the bottom. And you can actually use these things to interact with their mobile app. And there's no batteries or anything like that. It's actually dead simple tech. It's conducting the electricity that comes off your fingers down through the stamp to basically the equivalent. Our smart screens, you can use one finger to scroll and two fingers to pinch and zoom. They're capable actually of 5 touches at any given amount in time, and can independently determine where those 5 touches are. And some are capable of 10 and all that kind of stuff. But so all that stamp is doing is it has a pattern of 5 dots on the bottom, and the app is just recognizing the pattern and going
for where those dots are.
Yeah, and then doing something based on that pattern. And so as an example, they're like, okay, you give everybody in your reception 3 drink tickets. And as then you come up to the bar and you just show them your cell phone, and they take the stamp and go ka-chunk, and it takes one of your drink tickets away.
So cool.
And it's that simple and that fast. And there's no batteries, there's no RFID, there's no radio frequencies. It's just mimicking the touch of all 5 fingers hitting the screen at the same time in a specific pattern. So that was one example that they gave, was doing like a drink ticket. And then when you hit it and you try and do it again, it's like you're out of drink tickets. But then you, as the organizer, would have the ability to go, hey, it's early and we've hardly even hit our bar. Let's give everybody another ticket, and you just send it out. They had that as an example. Then they had you go to the trade shows and you've got the passport thing.
Yeah,
you got to stop by this vendor and this vendor and this vendor and get the little passport, and you get the stamp, and then you get a tchotchke or a drink at the Scotland booth or something along those lines. And so same kind of thing, right? So you go to this vendor and ka-chunk, and the little stamp instantly appears.
And each stamp is unique.
Yeah, a unique stamp, branded to the vendor, and now. That's great if you get the little paper thing and that shows, okay, great, you get your tchotchke, you get your whiskey or whatever. But now you've got data. So in both of those instances, whether you're talking about drink tickets or you're talking about the passport thing, now you've got hardcore data that you can actually work with. And we've been talking about data all week, I feel like, on all of these various touch points. So now you're going to know exactly how many drinks went out. And you're not going to be counting drink tickets at the end of the night, and you're going to have accountability for your vendors. So the vendor's saying, hey, yeah, you went through 3,000 Miller Lights. But we only used 2,000 drink tickets. And then same with the passport. So not only you're going to know exactly that specific person went to each one of those vendors, and that information is then going to be able to share with them. So yeah, that's kind of the high level view. But I just love it whenever we see that kind of dead simple technology being used. That's so creative and so easy to implement.
I love it. I got one more, I think, before we wrap it up, since we're only giving the digest version of it. Another cool thing we saw was ArtCam. Did I get that name right?
AirCam.
AirCam. Thank you.
By the way, I didn't think about it, but yeah, .cam is a top level domain, so it's air.cam.
Oh.
And so we met these guys, and they were kind enough to show me how it works, and it's another one of those examples of, that makes perfect sense, and why isn't anybody else doing it? So you walk up, and a lot of the high-end cameras these days are Wi-Fi enabled, and so they've actually packaged a product where you can go to them, and they will provide the event photographer. And then that person's either wandering around or doing a photo booth, but then the back end of it is, as soon as they take that picture, it immediately cooks out, and the attendees are able to bring up on their phone or wherever access, a geofence thing. So you can hit the, like, okay, what are the events nearby me? Boom, there are the pictures for that event. And you can go click, click, click. You can either download them immediately and share them on social media, or you can print them out right there. So that package includes the photographer, the printer, and the software that's running all of that.
I love it. And solving the issue of people want their photos now. That's why everyone's taking photos on their phones. That's why everyone loves the photo booths that immediately give you the gifts. People want the photos now.
But and it's one of those products that are like, this doesn't already exist. But I think especially what's smart for them is that it's the package. So you as the planner, you got so much going on. You don't need to be dealing with trying to get a photographer and the printer and the photo, all of that kind of stuff. It's a nice, neat, convenient package. And I thought that was very smart of them to do it that way.
I love it. Well, if you guys want to catch all the rest of the trends, the cool things that we saw here, and all the event tech related stuff, make sure to go check out the Event Tech Podcast. You can sign up at eventtechpodcast.com. Go subscribe now to make sure you get all the content. You can hear the extended episode where we dive in a little bit deeper into some of the trends, why we're seeing stuff, what we think, and everything like that. Go check that episode out. It's fantastic. Brandt,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing some of the cool stuff that you saw.
And this is my goodbye, because I've got an earlier flight than the rest of these guys, so I won't be on the wrap-up. So I want to thank everybody that was joining us over the course of these last 3 days, all of the amazing speakers that we've had an opportunity to speak with. It's been phenomenal for me, and so thanks to my co-hosts and thanks for everybody else, and we'll see you at the next one.